Have you ever gotten to a door that you thought was opened and found it locked? Have you been temporarily locked out of your car or out of your home? Have you ever gotten caught in a curfew or have broken your curfew you're supposed to be in at a certain time, and when you get there, you realize that you are past your curfew so the door is locked? I never got in a curfew when I was growing up, but my brother did, and my cousins, and it was not a nice thing for them. But sometimes you are locked out or locked in, not really what you want. How was that like? How did you feel? Was it a feeling of fear, panic, disappointment, or frustration? There's some feeling that you experience when a door is locked that you are expected to be open, or you want to get out of a door that is locked. Depends on your situation. So Jesus is saying, I am the door. If anyone enters by me, he will be saved and will go in and out and find pasture, like green land, open, meadow, freshness. So we're going to unpack that a little, see what that means, to us. As Jesus uses himself as the door to salvation. We're all familiar with these terms, but maybe not everyone. Have you ever thought of that door? If you come to me, the door, you will be saved and be safe. Everything you need is here in abundance, life, now and after. I am the only door that you can go through freely. About a few years ago, well, to be exact, this month, maybe in the next 2 weeks, it would be 13 years that I'm here. 13 years, yes, wow, 13 years. And when I came, my beautiful young people here were like babies. I can remember some of their actions, even now. And look at them, my co-workers. We are working together. And I remember the first service, which was a commissioning service that we're going to have, and my family came up from Toronto that same Sunday evening. And of course, I'm in my place, my apartment, and when they call me to say they're outside, I get so excited. I run to the door to get them from downstairs, run down, and the door slammed behind me. No keys. All my excitement went. I'm forgetting now that I'm focusing on them. How am I going to get them even in? This is just kind of hours, a couple of hours or so before we are going to be here, and the door is locked. What do I do? The door has what you call it is a deadbolt that you don't have to use key to open it. And they tried everything, I've never had, I think it's just one neighbor, one person was living in the building with me, and they came down, they tried everything. We called Blacksmith, and they were taking a little while. They said they would come, and it was a bit chilly, of course. My father, they were sitting in the van and everything. And, my brother still kind of fiddling around with it and see how they could push things, and he uses his card. So this credit card thing works. He uses his credit card and push it beside the thing, and the door opens. Now, once that opened, you can imagine the relief. I felt it before, and that happened before, of course, before the locksmith came. And the following day, I just called the landlord, and I said, "Can you change my lock? I do not want the door to lock. I will lock it myself. I don't want any door locking me out or let me open and close my door." And so he says, "Oh, but that is a good key, nobody can come in." It was a credit card that opens, it was not a key. I said, "I don't care how beautiful it is and how wonderful it is. It's not really the door that is keeping me safe. So I need to turn my key in my door myself. I don't want the door locking for me. And I think I'm the only one who has that door there. I opened my door and I locked my door. If I keep it open, forget to lock it, that's mine. So I do it. So I know what the feeling is like, when you go to a door to expect it to be open and it's locked, or it locked to be on its own, without you wanting it locked. I was talking to someone this morning, and of course, he was telling me about going to the bank and how all the banking machines now, that you would use inside, they're closed. And he had to go to about three or so before he was able to find one. So you can imagine, you want what you want now. They're always open. And when you went there, it's locked. What do you do? So I know that it is not a good feeling when the door is locked, not at your own, consent. It's not convenient. And so Jesus is presenting us with an open door that no one can lock, no one can open. And it's a door that is always open when you want to walk through it. He presents freedom, assurance, safety, protection, food, comfort. And as our two last series, part of our message last week and the week before, the bread and the light. Everything that is basic, everything that is important, everything that is necessary, and more, and in abundance, Jesus is offering that. His door. Once you go through that door, that's what you have. Now, door, of course, Jesus is a symbol here, in the natural sense, can have varying impact on different individuals. It can trigger different emotions for different people. For some, door represents security. Security. We always hear the term, I am locking my door and I am closing, opening my door. It's my door. It's a thing about a door that you own. It's like when you get the key for a house, it's a door. You get the key for the door so you can go into that house and enjoy whatever else is in there. It can trigger some kind of, so one is for security, and the other door can, represents bondage or captivity. When you are inside, why are you there? You're held behind these doors, not on your own wish. A few years ago when I was in seminary there at Presbyterian College, I liked to, the Magical Metro there was the closest, and in there, it is very nice and warm. And there are always a lot of homeless people, there. And there's a thing about me when I have to encounter any kind of homeless people or people on the street. I just can't pass them without feeling something. Even though I can't do anything most of the time. I just have that sense of, responsibility. This is my flesh and blood. we are, you know, as Luther would say, from the flesh and blood, my brother and my sister in that situation. And I just, you know, it just sent me thinking. And so I always stop and talk with them. In the metro, I can understand why they like that metro at McGill, because the steps are wide, some of them, and they always sit there. There's wide space there, and they sit there. And I have conversation with them. Sometimes I sit, you know, with them on the step, you know, and when they see that you want to talk, that you acknowledge them, they have stories to tell you. And trust me, I heard a lot of stories from homeless people. And you would think that I am homeless too when they start calling me. We are staying here together. And they would be giving me a report. And one of them had to go into the hospital because they're homeless there, but it's not because they don't have places to go. And that is one of the things, but the condition of their minds, which are the one I'm going to tell you about, can't allow them to stay indoors, in home. And even some will get sick, going to the hospital, they will be telling me, I will pass in, Sybil, John is in the hospital. And they're telling me which ward he's on, you know, and so forth. And I would go and look for John. And I remember one of these incidents, I went to see John in the hospital, but when I went, and they told me where to go, I went to the ward and everything. I am looking for John, and John is looking at me, and John says, Sybil, I am here, because John was transformed. John was transformed. I could not believe that that was John. And this is what he said to me. You know, he said, when I asked him what could I bring for him and so forth, and he said he needed glasses, you know, a pair of glasses, reading glasses, so he can read because he gets stuff to read. And he can't wait to come out. He's from Ottawa, and his parents coming down, you know, his mother. And he said, oh, my mother will go, he will take me home, maybe for a few weeks, but I will come back. As if there is his home. He can't stay at his home, in home. He said, but I will come back. And he did. He did come back. But this was the one who actually, there was a different one. This one is a retired soldier. He was on the street. He was sitting there because he was suffering from PTSD, which is post-war trauma stress disorder. And he was in that metro as soon as it was open. They were not allowed to sleep in it. The police would be coming at a certain time to get them out, to lock the door. And so they would be outside. And I sat with him many times, and he told me a lot of story. I think he was in the Gulf War, some other wars, you know, but it left him totally disturbed. And I was wondering to myself, in my little lack of knowledge of how it works, and I was saying, how comes you're here? You're a soldier. You know, why are you not being taken care of and all of those kind of stuff? So I took it on myself. And I called up, you know, the housing place, whatever, you know, social services there. And they know John, and they know him all right. They said, oh, yes, we know him. I don't remember if his name was Per or whatever. He says, oh, yes, we know him. So they told me this story. They says, well, he has this place here, but we can't keep him in. We cannot keep him in. He gets his money. He gets his money that he's supposed to be getting, but we can't keep him inside. We try to get him in, but as he comes in, he goes back out on the street. And so I talked with him, and he said to me, you know, when I'm out here, I feel free. I feel free, I can go anywhere. I can't stay in there. I can't go in the, you know, the closed door behind the walls. I can't. Whatever that means, that door is like a bondage, it's suffocating. He says, I'm so free out here. And so, whatever happens that allows him, well, of course, he's suffering from this, you know, post-war trauma, but it has to do with enclosement, to be inside a place. And so, many of these people, it's not because they don't have place. I had one in Toronto when I was at Ryerson, and every Christmas, his plane ticket comes for him to go to, Vancouver or wherever he lives. They sent his ticket, his parents sent his plane ticket, and he went home. And when it's finished, he's back in Toronto there on the street. It's sad. And they have their different stories. But God is saying, the door is open. And just like the metro to them, McGill Metro was a freedom. The door open, the spin, it rotates, they can go in and out. But even then, there was limitation to it. At certain time of the night, they have to go. They cannot sleep in the metro. And so, notice this. Jesus said, I am the door. Not a door or any door. I am the door. There is no other door that you can go in and out of and find pasture, find comfort, find food, find rest. No other door can provide you the safety or protection that the door, Jesus, provides. Jesus being the door carries a significant meaning to his audience, and I hope to us as well. So in many Eastern countries, a sheepfold is protected by a wall. So you have this big open space, but with just walls around it, and the sheep, they are inside. There are different ones. They have the ones maybe that are like around maybe near to the city where they more have a gate. They're smaller and have a gate. But the ones that are out there in the open, green space is just walls, but there is no door. It's just an opening that the sheep can go in and out. What happens now when night comes, the shepherd would lay across that entrance, physically laying down across that entrance to prevent the sheep from coming out and to prevent predators from getting in. Therefore, anyone or anything that comes there must go over the shepherd to get to the sheep. Think of that. That image is so powerful. That's what the shepherd, this is a shepherd lying there protecting his sheep physically. The psalmist knows this so well and knows the truth to this. He writes, the Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. The Lord will watch over your coming and your going. In the King James, he will watch over your going out and your coming in. And from this time forth and forevermore. Every time you go out and every time you come in, God watches that, the shepherd. And so it is the shepherd that is protecting. Think of God as that protector who is protecting you, protecting, his sheep. Who is the keeper of your door? Who is the keeper of your door? And which door are you trying to go or come through? Which door are you knocking on? Which door? We see the door, there are many in places in the Bible where the door is referred to. We have it in Revelation, I hold the key to the door. I hold the key to the door. Another, I stand at the door and knock. So Jesus is making so many entrances for us to get to him. He knocks and he waits. He becomes the door so that we can go through the right door. Which door are you going through? Is Jesus your door? Are there other doors? Which one? Next week we'll be talking more about the shepherd. Jesus is the door to God. Very narrow, but he is the door to God. There is no other entrance. No other entrance. Any other entrance we know is not good. They are for thieves and robbers. So imagine how God feels about his people. And it's the heart of God that Jesus is showing. Jesus came to reveal God to us, to let us know who God is. That is the love that Jesus shows us. That's God's heart. Jesus is God's heart to us. And this takes us back to the reading in Ezekiel, when Ezekiel is addressing the leaders of Israel, the shepherds of God's people, the flock. God is angry at the way the shepherds are neglecting his people, allowing them to be scattered while they are looking after their personal affairs and getting greedy and fat. God doesn't take that lightly. He says, I am against the shepherds that will hold them accountable for my flock. I will remove them from tending the flock so that the shepherds can no longer feed themselves. I will rescue my flock from their mouth, and it will no longer be food for them. God is speaking to his shepherd. Sometimes we just think, oh, it's just the sheep. But the shepherd that God placed over his people, the leaders, the pastors, that is why God said he will remove them and put a shepherd with his heart, with his pastor's heart. It's a responsibility that we are given to be sheep and to be shepherd, to be servants and to be masters. We have all responsibility. We are all servants and we are all sheep of God. He gave us different responsibility. And sometimes we wonder if we don't believe that we are accountable to God, that we will have to give an account for what God has entrusted to us. It is a burden because these are God's people. And I don't want to behave as if I am the best thing that ever happened to God's people. Maybe to me, but not to God's people. God is the shepherd of us all. We are under shepherd. We take our instruction from God. One thing the Bible said, you must study the word, all of us, the sheep too, so that you can know that people can't just say what they say and you just take it. It's not like that anymore. That's why Jesus came, the living word, so that we can know God. Each person can know God for ourselves. Shepherds are not God. They are God's tools, as we all are, in a different way. We are given different responsibility. So if we can just sit there and think that, oh, who is going to judge? Because we give such an impression at times as if we just have a word. When I was coming into, ministry seminary, finish and everything, one of the intent, like, you have so much that you're going to teach, and talk about, only to know that I am the one that need to be taught. I am the one that have been taught and changed and, and transformed. Because if it doesn't start with me, then it is really bad. And one of the prayers I pray all the time, when I see things, and it's frightening, when you see some of the things that are happening, with leaders, pastors, it's frightening. And I have this little prayer that I pray to myself that I don't even know what to pray and how to even pray for myself. I just say, God, you love your people too much so that you would even allow me to mess them up. God will not allow that. God will never send you a shepherd to lead you astray. God will take away that shepherd. He loves his sheep. And therefore, that is my prayer. Keep me where I'm supposed to be so that I will not lead the sheep astray. God provides pasture for his people. He provides everything that they need there. That is why he lays there. He's not allowing predators to come in. And so he is very angry with those who allow that. Jesus, the door, who protects us from the enemy, protects us from danger, the door that keeps us safely in. Jesus is that door. Jesus is that door who lays down his life, the one who lays there so that we can be safe and saved. He lays down his life for us. John 1, 1 John 3:16, the door to life. This was publicly displayed in the most dramatic and traumatic scene on the cross. When he gave up his life, laid down, he did it for us. Jesus does not only protect us, but he also frees us from the bondage of sins, which made us captives, prisoners of Satan. I came to set prisoners free. Luke 4 and verse 8. You are not a prisoner anymore. You are free. You are free. You can go in and out. You are safe. Jesus sees and knows everyone who comes in. No one can slip in without Jesus noticing. It doesn't matter what it is or who it is, Jesus sees everything. His eyes go to and fro the earth. Nothing escapes Jesus. You cannot escape him. No one comes through the door without being noticed. You are his, and you are under his radar. Talking about parents or parents who said, you have eyes behind you, or parents would say, I have eyes behind me. Well, God have eyes all over. Not only behind, but he has it all over. So he sees us. And he's not looking down on us with bad eyes. God has kind eyes. He has kind eyes. And that is the eyes that you want to guard you. That is the eyes that you want to look at you. And that is the eyes that God has. He wants to see his children. He wants to see for them to know that he's waiting for them at that door. No need to worry, my friend. about being locked out or what might happen when you get inside. It is all good. It is all good. You can go in and out in safety and freedom and find pastors. All you need is there. That door, the door, the door. Is that door that you are knocking on? Is that door that you are trying to go through? Or are you in that door? This is the door, my friends. You are invited to enter through to get to the Father, the only door. Jesus, the I am. Amen. We thank you, God, for this door, that you are the door that we can enter in. We thank you that we are here today because you have given us access to the door, and you are the keeper of the door of our souls. We ask, God, for those who have not yet come through the door, that you will usher them in. In Jesus' name, amen.